Wow. That's crazy. All right, if you, we'll just go with what we have. If you would go out to the classroom and that top link, it's just a quick form, I just want to grab people. So there are two links, just click on the top one. And what I was going to talk about today, I don't know if you guys have noticed or not, but Google has made a number of changes and updates of late.
Ben Herda, please come to the high school office. Ben Herda, to the office, please.
Yeah, don't worry. I just put it in there. I'm just trying to grab people's names. Okay. Now that you've done that,
The first one.
Mrs. Hebert is distracted. She's a distracted learner. Well, I was going to say go to the second link now. And what I want you to do is I want you to answer yourself as a choice. Use uppercase and answer the other questions correctly. I want you to choose, there's a question in there that says, who did you take personal finance? Yep. Who did you take personal finance? You're going to say me. You can answer either way you want, don't capitalize. Don't capitalize things, don't capitalize other things. Now, the first thing, those who were not here last time will notice, is that in order to get into the test,
That's very good. Very good.
classroom marks. I'm supposed to. This is, yep, just give me a second. I don't know. Not everybody has it in there. You don't even have anything. Okay, I'll get you in a second. Okay, so there's a test question, a test code that is needed. So I've been using these lately so that I can get all my kids in and make sure that they're all ready to take the test, so that some don't get like a time advantage while others are waiting. And then I give it to them. So the test code answer or response is spring, capital S. Spring. So go ahead and type in spring. Yep, go ahead and fill them in. Yep, you're okay. Just let them go. So you're going to
I'll be okay.
and you're going to put in. Michelle, it's 59Q, I'm sorry, 59JQ9W.
Anything has to be capitalized or
The kids don't necessarily capitalize them. There you go. So if you guys would just fill out the top form, I'm trying to collect names, and don't worry about the date is wrong. And I just want you to know. And then we're filling out the second form, the second link. And the second link, just told me I didn't want this done. She clicked on the top.
Oh, yeah.
So I just want to collect your name. Did you do that already? So just type in your name and submit. So I was saying that these days when I give tests and I use the Google Forms, I put a test code on there so the kids can't get in whenever they want. And because I have, like, my business English is in the morning and then in the afternoon, I don't want the kids to give out, the kids from the morning say, oh, well, the password is spring, and then the afternoon kids can spend lunchtime taking the test. So after the morning class leaves me, I change the password to, I don't know, Easter Bunny. And so then the second period class, and I don't have to lock and relock and unlock and all of that, my tests anymore, so I just use a passcode. So go ahead and fill out the second form if you haven't done it. Your password is SPRING, capital S. And I had some people answer different from others. Nate sits right there, and he likes to play with mine. Thinks it's funny when I go, God, I can't say, my eyes are going big. It's always blurry. That was me. Wrestler. Newberry, thank you. Like, come on.
Or Mincer,
All
there's another.
I could do is Hallbaker. I'm like, that's not it.
Oh, God. Oh, that's years ago.
Years ago, and I couldn't get past that.
I'm just gonna
You
put
remember
you.
what's that, right?
That's fine. Tracy, you're done, right?
Yes.
So when you're done, go ahead and hit submit. That's fine. Yep. And hit submit. Now, a couple of interesting things. Did you have a message at the bottom? So, did you get an email from me?
How come I got? How's that?
It's okay, it's okay. So in your message here, it says
Yeah.
your grade will automatically be sent to you. Check your email now.
Oh, that's a lot.
Well,
So you may have to refresh.
what did I do wrong?
Oh, I only got a 33.
It's okay, don't worry about your grade. But I don't have to stand here and automatically wait for everybody to finish and then grade the test. It automatically does it as each student's answer gets submitted. Now, I had Mrs. Hebert choose her name for the personal finance class, and I had Terry choose me. When I look at my answers, let's look at the grades. So the zeros are wrong, the ones are correct. And I had a couple kids do this for me. So Mrs. Hebert, how did you do?
I did pretty bad. I got
Oh.
33%.
Okay, let me check your answer. Yep,
I also
here's,
wrote Tracy Hebert.
that's why. Because if you were a student, you would have said Mrs. Hebert.
Well, I wasn't sure capital or lowercase.
And that's what I was trying to show. I set this up so that, like, the capital of Harrisburg, or the capital of Pennsylvania, Harrisburg, should be capitalized. So in an English class, it would mark it as wrong. What school do you teach at? I left as it can be uppercase or lowercase, but UASD is not right. I was looking for BHS. So both of these would be right. This overachiever, I teach in more than one school district, messed it up. So this should be right, this should be right, that would be wrong, this would be right,
Can I ask a question?
and then Harrisburg should all be
I
right.
find that in math, if they don't answer exactly the way Flugaroo, when I pick, like I put in my answers, if it doesn't answer exactly the way
If
I
they-
Yeah,
do
if
it.
somebody answers 5, and they type in X equals 5.
Correct, it marks it wrong, and that.
So what I would do in the questions is,
Oh, and I have done that, just put the number please, and they still write that.
well, what I would do, like in the help right here, I would say X equals, so that all they put then is 5.
Yeah, but they don't hit them.
Yeah, and I truly have done that in the question. Number 1, X equals, just want the number. So, I didn't even catch use the acronym, I'm as bad as they are.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah. But there's no way correct.
Well, that's what
Can
Mrs.
you-
Hebert and Mrs. Smith being the right answer. I told you guys that, answer like you were a student, it would be Mrs. Smith, Mrs. Hebert. So the way to do them is when you go to take the test, so it can be your rubric. If you answer to get it so that you can choose more than one correct answer,
Right.
you use %or. So for here, I've got Mrs. Hebert, space, %or. Let me just pull that down. I don't know if I can here.
What does it
Okay,
say to
so Mrs. Hebert, I'll tell you in a second. Mrs. Hebert or Mrs. Smith is the correct answer. So it's that %or that does that.
Percent CS is percent, it means case sensitive, so it must be uppercase. So Harrisburg, over here, I've got my answer as it must be capital H for Harrisburg. If they use lowercase, then it's not right. So there are ways to kind of go around this. I'm going to show you. You don't even have to write it down.
Oh, really?
I'm going to show you where to go. Awesome. So that's one of the things. So these a way of forcing the answers to be certain things or more than one answer. And I've done this where I've got 3 different answers. So it could be Mrs. Hebert percent or Mrs. Smith percent or Mrs. McCandless. So if you have more than one, but you want them to write it. These are a couple of the things that were new. And then this auto grade, the fact that I didn't actually have to stand here and then go through it. Now they're still working out bugs. Mrs. Hebert, you had brought it to my attention that sometimes you go into Fluber and have it graded and it says, yeah, I can't grade it, refresh or whatever. Then you just hit refresh and it goes. They know of these 2 programming issues. So that what I was noticing today is if I let too much time go by from turning this on and then having the kids do it, I'd have to redo it and then I could walk away. So I redid it right before you guys came in so it would work okay.
And that, what you're talking about is sending the email to them.
It automatically grades it and emails it without me having to stand here, wait for them to take the test.
But you
and
gotta
then go
turn
through
something
that.
on to do that.
You do
Or just
the entire same process,
Okay.
you just do it before they take the test.
Okay. All right.
And then they're not sitting there going, did you grade it yet? Did you grade it yet?
Okay.
So these are so in the add-ins, so you have to be in that spreadsheet section of the online test. And Flubaroo, I've got what's called auto grade turned on. So I'm going to turn it off. And it tells me down here, Flubaroo notification, the auto grade has been turned off. If I want to turn it on, I would go to Flubaroo, and under Advanced, I can enable auto grade. And it walks you through the same basic things that you do if you've been using Flubaroo all along. So before enabling auto grade, would you like to update your grading and email settings? So you say yes, and so my test code, I always skip because it's not a graded question. They don't need a point or anything for that. My name identifies and their email identifies. So it's just a 3-point assessment. And I say, here's my rubric. And it chugs. And I say, nope, I want you to use their email. I don't want to send them their scores or their key because then they can give it to other kids. This is where I wrote something like, isn't this cool? And then you continue, and then this message will change to tell you that auto grade is enabled. So now when people fill out that form, it just automatically will grade it for them. If you make any changes to the form or to the spreadsheet at all, you have to re-enable it. It just needs to know what the changes are. Let me just turn this off real fast. Under the add-ins again, as I was telling you, there are a lot of updates. Under Advanced, I found out I can change the language. For me, it's not the language of the form, but as I'm going through this, so if you're not native to English, you can do it. Did you guys know that you have an email quota within Flubaroo? It's really high. It's a daily email. So you can check if you've hit your quota or not. So I have 1,447 still to go for today. It resets it every day. So if you're giving a lot of tests on the same day or a lot of assessments on the same day, I don't think we're going to have to worry about it, but that's there. Right here under Flubaroo, if you add in, remember in the new Google Sheets, once you add Flubaroo as an add-on, it automatically will appear in all of your sheets. So under the Flubaroo, under add-ons, if you go to Edit Help Tips, I think that's the one. Nope, that's not it, sorry. I've got it bookmarked. If you go to flubaroo.com/HC, which is their help center, there's stuff for math. So there's a whole bunch of these out here. So if you want to have more than one correct answer, numerical ranges, case sensitive, you can change the default from 70 to say 65. So when you look at, after it's been graded, sometimes you'll have columns that are highlighted in orange. You can change that. Again, down here is the auto grade, and you can disable your no reply if you want to actually use your email. I don't see a whole lot of big pressure to do that. And then there's a discussion forum, and it's listed down here if you have some issues that you want to discuss. So it's just the flubaroo.com HC for Help Center. HC, Help Center.
I just punched it in just to find it, and it says that you're having this issue affecting auto grade.
Yes, that's what I was just saying. Yep, that's what I was talking about.
Where is the math stuff in here?
So right here, you can use numerical ranges.
Okay.
So I didn't look at it because I don't teach math,
Right.
and I didn't know, for me to look at it, I go, oh, that's really cool, and you go, oh, that doesn't help. So that's what they have so far.
I found that.
Question, when you got onto Google Forms, or into Google Classroom, did you notice anything? I know you know. When you got on, you see the header that I have
Yes,
on
I did.
Classroom? I made that header. So there are, I'm going to change classes. I'm going to go into my business management. So we've always been able to select themes, but when you click on the select themes now, have you seen that there's patterns available? So that you have more options just to kind of mix it up a little bit.
Oh, cool.
So maybe I want pink polka dots for this class. I could change that. It would be pink polka dots. This is another background that I did. You can upload now a photo. So you can upload a photo that you have. It could be your face. It could be your classroom. It could be the school. Kind of
Where's your upload option?
my upload option.
You have to be in one of your classes.
So in one of your classes, right here it's upload photo.
Oh, it's okay. I'm sorry.
Right there where the themes are.
There we go.
Have you guys discovered Canva yet? Canva? Oh my God, I've got my students using Canva. Canva is a cool little tool, and that's how I developed my background. So it's just Canva, canva.com. And there's all sorts of different layouts. I've been going into the presentation. I'm just going to open up this one that I've done before. There are some things that you have to pay for, but there's a lot that you can do that are free. So I just made a screenshot of the different emblems and I uploaded them. I can change my backgrounds by choosing these things. It tells you which are free and which you have to pay for. They're $1. You can search on different emblems. So I could choose shapes, and as long as they're free, I can add a shape in here. I can change the color if I don't like my blue. Maybe I want yellow, or I want an offshoot of something, so I can change what I want it to look like. So I've gone in on a number of these. Let me go back to my designs. So I've got kids going in here and designing, like my computer presentation class, they're designing their own backgrounds for their presentations for Google Slides. I don't know if you guys have hit upon ThingLink yet, but I've done a number of ThingLink backgrounds in Canva so that you can design stuff to have students go to. So if you wanted to make your own backgrounds for your specific class, pick calculus, I don't know, whatever your class is, driver's ed. You could personalize your own, and this is a very easy to use tool, very easy to navigate and figure out. And then all I simply did, so this one is a no, it's not the multi-page. Let me find the multi-page real quick. This one is multi-page. Okay, it's not multi-page. Why am I not coming up with my multi-pages? There it is. So if this is the one that I want to use, even though I've got 2 pages, once I have it the way I want, I can click download. And if I only want page 2, I can go to options, come on, and just do page 2. It will download it as a PNG, and then you can upload it into Google Classroom. And it all works pretty quickly. I'm going to say that and it's going to stop. So it's in my downloads down at the bottom. If I go back to Classroom, and I'll pick on Personal Finance. So I want to upload a photo. It's on my computer in my downloads. Most recent, let's put it at the top. So when I go to upload it, it puts it in here, and then it gives me like a little window. Oh, it's got to be a certain size is the other thing. Then it gives me a little window that I can move around to determine exactly what part of my picture or what part of my graphic that I've created. I don't know if I have a, let's see if I can just drag this in here. Nope, she's not big enough. So you just have to look for one that's sized correctly. And because I'm doing this under pressure, I can't do it. There it is. So this is my little window. So if I just want shell education, and it limits you as to how far you can. So I had to do it a couple of times to get exactly what I want. And once I have it set where I want it to be, I just select class theme, and it changes. And there's your new background. Fun. Not real great for pedagogy necessarily, but you can make your classroom your own. Instead of yeah. Yep, whatever you want. Or you could, in Canva, you could upload, if you wanted to upload your picture of the cameraman in the background, you can make your own. And you might have to play around with it a little bit to get spacing right for Classroom's upload. But it's pretty cool. Yeah, Canva's a really, really cool thing. So that you could make, for driver's ed, you could make one background that you use for one entire unit. And once you make it, you just use it over and over and over again.
I've been doing just like arranging pictures that I have and then doing a screenshot, but this is what this work. So.
So there you go. Updates to forms and updates to Classroom.
Did they fix, I'm sorry, the flipperoo where if you automatically collect respondents' name, it sends them?
That's an option that you choose.
That was not, right? Where it sends them the results.
Right, that's an option. If you automatically collect the respondents, it then gives them the option to receive. It's a little checkbox at the bottom that they can receive all their questions and their answers.
But we can't turn that on.
Yeah, you just don't choose it.
Then I can't collect their names.
That's why I always put in these 2 fields. I just make it a required field because I don't want them to see that stuff. Next week I'm going to be talking about how to utilize Google Slides to create a review/remediation opportunity for the kids that incorporates Google Forms so that they would answer a question if they get it wrong. It would take them somewhere where they can review, which then takes them back to answer that question again. Set it up how you want. So it's kind of kicking things up a notch, bringing it above the line, as Rich used to say. Punta Dora, Sammer model.
Hey, can I ask, and I probably missed this in the previous one, how'd you get the password on there?
What password on where? Oh, on my form? Okay. for those of you, I just did that last week. So it's not like, no. There are 2 people here that were here for that. So here's my test code. First thing I had to do was make a new page, because all you want them to see is the code question. So I put in, it's just a question right now, and then I did a page break. So on page 2, that's where all my questions are. For this, I made it a text field, so they actually have to type stuff in. And I went under Advanced Settings. I chose Data Validation.
Do you have a form that you want to do that to? Yep, you can choose any form. It just needs to be the question, the form itself. So if you wanted to do this, you could add an item. You just add a text question. Go to your advanced settings, and then you have to choose data validation. And then once you have data validation, these things become available. So if you choose from the drop-down, you choose regular expression, and it has to match, and then you can type in whatever word you want to use.
And that goes after the form?
I put it at the very beginning,
Okay, I was just gonna say.
so you can grab it, like, so
And you
just
want
put
it,
it away.
you want it to be text, you don't want it to be a number?
And then you have to require it. And say done. And then grab this and drag it up to the very top. So it's the first thing that pops up. Yep.
Oh.
Keep going up. Oh. So before their name. Okay, so that's now your just name the question.
Right.
And then what you can do is scroll down to the bottom again. And add an item. Page width. Okay, you can call that page 2. I just made it a little fun. Let's get testing or something. Just page 2 as well. And then click on done. And then drag that up so it's right underneath that test question. So put the name. And drop it. Yep. So here's your first question. So if you go into
Oh, I know I did.
Yeah, you did. Oh, yes. So you just, you drag one up or 2. So here's your question.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Up to 5.
Oh, my
You want to see
stars.
the more? There you go. There you go. You see this up here now.
All right, okay, here's my thing.
So now if you go to Viewform Live, prompted with, they have to answer this before they can continue. And so what I then also did is over here, the third thing, if they try to guess what the password is, I just said, nope, that's not right. See Mrs. Smith for the correct code.
You chose a word rather than a number?
You can do whatever you want. You want, put in pi. 3.14. Really test
And
them.
it's a regular expression?
Regular expression.
Not text?
Right. Just like when I collect the kids' Gmail accounts, I do the same thing. I do the advanced settings data, but then I ask for text, because when I choose text from here, I've got email address, or they should have to give me a URL. I can force them to give me an answer in a specific format. So when I choose the email address, if it's not a real email address, it won't accept it. And it kicks it back and says, nope, not right format, try again. So there's some pretty cool things.
It's just for checking from yourself. Oh my gosh, you just so quick look over. Wait, let's talk about this.
Which is why the thing I want to do next week would be really cool, because then they would be doing that themselves. I mean, yeah, you can still do your checkpoints.
Right.
But, okay, so go out and do this review, and you could, I don't know, throw a piece of candy at them for the first one who gets through it correctly.
Oh, yeah.
Because if not, the one that I'm doing, they would watch, they would do a little review thing,
within the review, and then go back and try the question again. So, on this form.
I just closed
Oh,
it.
okay.
I'm sorry.
Right, no, it's all right. Right now, it's just the required question symbol. So you would want to say something like test code.
Right.
In the design. You want to
Yes.
Put
So,
something
and I
there.
could probably edit that.
Yep, and actually you don't, do me a favor, scroll down. It's all right. I'm done. You can either click on that, or you can just click on the question. Just click right where you are.
Oh, really?
Yep, just click right where you are. Thank you.
Oh, I did not know that. I was
Yep.
still out there.
You're welcome. Go play now. Like you have time to play, right? And then, so, underneath the advanced settings. So, that's where you would change it if you don't want to do that. And you could say, nope, you gotta wait for the teacher to give it to you, or you just like blank it. What the heck?
Wait, what's this?
That's where I have, we'll just go back up to that. So I tell them right here, I say, nope, that's not right. See Mrs. Smith for the right code.
Okay.
It can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but the kids will probably guess that in math class. I'm not sure they get 6 digits or 10 digits or however far out you want to make a number kind of a code.
And so if you don't want, if you do a test on here, you can change that every period.
Yep, that's what I do. As soon as the kids are done taking the test, I will change the password. So you could go from Eric to Karen.
Correct. Now, could you set up a different password with each class? Do you understand what I mean?
Ahead of time,
Yes.
to do that, you would need a different form for each class.
So I'd have to make a new form for each
Yeah,
class.
so let me show you one that I've got that I've done with Business English. So we take all these vocabulary tests, and we've just done vocabulary 10. And these are my final responses. So I've got, oh, wrong class. Let me do personal finance. We did home buying. So with test code. So it went from ranch to split level. To bi-level, yeah. So as soon as the first class is done, I can change it, but regardless, they all come here. And because I don't grade the test question, I can change it as many times as I want.
Right.
And then I also know, it's kind of an interesting way to know, did somebody give somebody else the test code? Because if you're my period 1, you're my period 2, and you use period 1 password, I know something funky's going on.
Right.
And then if you've got, so maybe you've got a couple times you use things differently, you can always go back and sort this from A to Z. So maybe I used ranch for period 1 and
Right.
frosty for period 4, and I can sort by, put all the ranch test questions or test responses together if you want to.
That's neat.
Yeah, so that's all I got, because I don't want to blow up people's brains.
Yeah.
Well, the code is a way, we used to be able to publish and unpublish in study groups. So the code is a way that we can lock and unlock.
Yeah, well, you can now. My problem is if you pre-populate, like I will pre-populate the test into Classroom. So my period 1, my period 4 comes in first period, and they can see it. And as soon as I make it live for period 1, period 4 kids can take it. Unless I go in and manually put it in after period 1 takes it, and then I forget, and then they got to wait for me to do it. Versus now, because when period 1 takes it, if period 4 kid sees it, it's out there, they click on it, they can open it, but because they have to type in the correct password, they don't know what it is, so they don't get anywhere. So great,
That's what
and all
I'm-
they saw was test code, they
That's
didn't
what
see
I'm
any
saying.
questions.
This
Right.
is a nice way to lock it down.
Yeah,
You can have
and
it
without
out
making more work for yourself.
Yeah, that's great. The only thing that really does bug me is that it has to be exact.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That it's been tough for me to be able to.
Well,
grade
the
it.
kids,
And I try.
business English has gotten,
That they.
and
Right.
they asked me early on, does it have to be exact? And I said, yes, it has to be exact. If you don't answer the question specifically the way I've asked you to answer it, it's going to be wrong.
Right.
So they learned real quickly to pay attention to the question and then to that subtext
Right.
to make sure that they're putting in exactly what I'm asking for.
Yeah, it must not be. Like I said, most of the time now, I don't use it for a test or quiz. I just use it to check their understanding.
Mhm.
Like, are they?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was awesome.
Good, thank you.
Okay, yes. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.